Welcome back. My name is Julia Abram, and you are listening to a show, 100 Estonian Vets. This show will be in English, as the guest that I have here today is speaking English and Russian and Latvian and a little bit of Estonian. She is a fan of dermatology. She had many interesting reasons or ways how she became a vet and why she loves to work in Estonia. Today, my guest is Aleksandra Zvonnikova. What do you do on your days off?
Usually I have a lot of homework collected during a week because working days are very long, and I have just a lot of things to do at home, like laundry and stuff. But also I try to walk as much as possible, go somewhere to cinema, do sports, walk with my cat. I don't have a dog, but I have a cat who really loves to walk, and he's waiting for my days off so we can have a long walk together.
Well, that's cool because I listened to a TV show just, I think it was today actually, for a small cut, and they were talking about how it's actually good to walk the cats on the leash. And how did you manage to get your cat on board with that? Because usually they don't really like the harnesses. So tell me, go through the training process.
I would say it's just individual. Cats are very individual, just like we are.
Today's guest has been working in Estonian Rannamõisa Pet City Clinic for almost 6 years. It is amazing how the time flies because we just met.
And I have two cats, and one of them just loves walking from the beginning. He was so excited when I took him out. He already wanted to run, climb the trees, and enjoy it. And the other one is very afraid. He still doesn't like it. And even though I tried a lot, he's afraid of every noise. He runs home all the time. So I would tell you should try slowly, but in general, you should listen to the response of your cat. Some of them will love it, some of them will be just a home cat and will love you for not torturing him with this walking.
It's like not all cats are made, the killers who would like to be outside. Some are like peaceful home cats.
Yes, exactly.
So what about, let's go to your childhood. And if I would ask your parents how they would describe you as a child.
Mm. They usually describe me as the, I don't know, very nice child, like the nicest ever, because I was always listening to them. I was always very nice, and I was not like making much trouble. I mean that my mother said she never had to even yell at me or something. She just could just ask me, tell Sasha, please do this, I will be happy, and I would do it, or don't do this, I will be unhappy. I would like, okay. But actually, I dream to have such a child with my temperament.
Hmm.
But also, they always noticed that from very early childhood, I was obsessed with animals. I loved, it was my main interest from childhood, watching all the shows, all the movies, cartoons, everything about animals. And I think I heard it from many colleagues, but I also had all my toys were animals. I never played with Barbie or something. It was so not interesting for me. I was always into everything that is connected with the animals.
Hmm. Would you agree with what your parents would say about you? Or did you have some kind of a hidden side where I will do this, but
Well, when I was a really small kid, I mean, like 5, 10 years old, I didn't have any kind of protest in me. But later, yeah, when I became a teenager, I had this protest period when I realized that, hey, other kids behave so much worse than I, and parents still love them, they allow them. And I had this protest moment. Of course, I was dressing up black and being like goth or something like this. I had this period in my life. I think it was, like my compensation for such a long period of being a good girl and listening to parents so much. But in general, I am such a person. I think, and it actually helps now to work with clients. I am such a person who always cares about how others feel. I'm very empathizing to everyone and to animals and to owners. So this is kind of, I don't know even if it's my strong point, and at the same time it's my weakness. Yeah. So, and I think it's a very important quality for doctors and for vets.
What is your earliest memory of communication with animals?
Well, it is even my mom's memory. Maybe it is even more valuable because I don't remember. I was like 1 year old or something, but she said it was very interesting moment that there was on TV, there was some show about nature, and it showed the mama bear who climbed on the other side of river, and her little baby bear was on the other side. And she was yelling to him, like, come here, but he's afraid to pass the river and he's crying, like, no. And she said, I was like, 1 year or even less. They thought I don't understand anything. And the mom said that you're sitting on my lap and you're watching it and you start crying, like showing with fingers and crying. Like, she said, how you understood the situation. You were sad for this poor bear. So this was one. But what I remembered now myself, also one of my memories, that I was always very empathetic about animals. It was very painful for me to see if they struggle somehow. I still remember, it's my traumatic childhood memory. There was a cartoon on Cartoon Network, this mask guy, with green face.
Yeah, remember that.
Yes, I think everyone from our generation watched that. And there was one episode when they turned little, all the people, and they got inside the dog, inside Milo. And they were trying to get out of him, and they started to hurt him somehow, drill him or do something. And he started crying. The dog started to make sounds like it's painful. And also, I remember I had like a hysteria because I was so upset for a dog that is suffering from this pain because of those idiots inside. I remember my grandma was like catching me at home and trying to calm me down, like it's a cartoon, it's not real. But yeah, I was very sensitive about those things from very, very childhood.
Do you remember what age was that?
I think 4 years old, 3-4 years old, something like that.
And it's quite early, yeah. And did this idea of becoming a vet form somewhere from that period, or did it came later?
Oh, the idea came much later, I would tell, but just my love to animals was something natural. Actually, I thought that everyone is like that. I was surprised then when I start to meet new kids in school and kindergarten and who don't care. I was very surprised because also my family always loved animals, and I was in this environment. So I would say that from these times I had the idea that animals for me is some like the best thing in the world, basically. But I never thought actually that I can be a doctor of them. It seemed too much responsibility, and I thought that it's something too difficult, which some just genius like people do. So actually, it was a very late idea.
How did you get the reinforcement of applying to veterinary medicine? Because it sounds, if you're like having those ideas, as it's very hard profession, you have to be a genius. I imagine you did not feel like a genius at the moment, but when did that change?
Well, I would say it's thanks to just one coincidence and one guy in high school. I was going to a school theater, and there was one guy who was a bit like 1-2 years older, and who was also about to graduate school, and I was about in 1-2 years. And he was asking me, what are you gonna become? I said, I have no idea. And he said, okay, let's go to university exhibition. There was such a event each year, yeah, when they show all the universities. And we were going there, and then he said, but what are you gonna look there? I said, I don't know. He said, okay, what is your idea of your future? I said, I have no idea, really. I like everything. I like math, I like physics, I like literature, biology, everything is okay, but I don't have anything special. And then he said, he somehow understood very, very well. And he said, okay, forget about my questions. Just let's play a game, associations. Tell me associations. Okay, like white, snow, like tasty, chocolate, best profession, vet. And he was like, okay, so you know what you want to become. And I'm like, no. I just thought it's just my association.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, Sasha, it's not my association. I don't have such a thought. Yeah, it means subconsciously for you, you think it's the best profession. Is it true? And I'm like, yeah, I think it's the best profession, but I will never become a vet. And he started to ask me more, but why? Do you study well? You like animals? Then you should. And actually, he somehow reassured me, because before that, I could not even like accept this thought. And he just made me think that the thing that I, in my mind, is the perfect one, it's actually what I want and what I should try to get at least. Yeah. And we went to this exhibition. He immediately found this veterinary university in Latvia. It was all in Latvia. And pushed me there, said, hey, here's a girl, she wants to be a vet, like take her. And that's it. So after that, we haven't even talked with this guy. He moved to UK, and that's it. He was just like some kind of helper, yeah, in life, who pushed me to this. And because actually I think that if there wasn't this communication, I would not go for it, because nor of my friends or family were somehow connected with doctors, vets, or something. So before that, I never, like, I thought actually once, I can remember now that I thought to become a vet when I was maybe 12 years old. I said to my mom first time, and she said to me like, oh no, Sasha, it's so difficult. Like, how will you do it? You will need to maybe even euthanize animals. It's so hard. Will you be able to euthanize little kittens? And I was like, no. And she said, so you should not be a vet. And I thought that, okay, probably mom is right. It's too difficult. So I forgot about this idea. But after some years, this friend, just with one question, kind of
changed everything.
changed.
How
And I came
cool is
home.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, when I came home, I told to my mom, I'm gonna be a vet. She's like, I'm like, no, I know for sure. I don't want anything else.
That's so cool. It's like, some people in your life, they just come, be the messenger, and they leave and you never see them again. And
Yes.
can you imagine, like, you would not be the person you are today without his really, like, concentrated guidance. Do you know what came of him?
I don't know actually. I know he went to UK, and he was going to some college for for doing buildings or something like that. Actually, we didn't speak after. So yeah, it was just like really like a messenger who really put me on this right way.
Do you remember his name?
Yes, his name is Miroslav.
Miroslav what? Who?
I don't remember even the surname.
So whoever knows Miroslav from what school?
From Riga. It's it was a theater school out of school, so it's difficult to find. But I have him somewhere in my friends, but I just don't feel like writing.
Yeah, but you know, I would imagine if someone came into my life and changed it so profoundly without even knowing it, it would be so cool years later to tell them thank you, because it seems like an awesome, awesome thing to do, to change someone's life without even knowing that. So how little it is needed to make someone's dream true. Oh, I getting emotional on that because I just love those stories. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so whoever knows Miroslav, who is now in England, came from Riga, from theater school. Thank you for Aleksandra.
Yes, yes. Actually, I would be happy to let him know that he changed my life just by accident. It's really nice thing.
Hmm. So you did apply to veterinary school. Was it hard for you at first, or how was?
You mean the study process or
Yes, yes, to Latvian University of Life Sciences. Yes.
Yes, yes. At that moment, it was the name was Latvian Agriculture University. Yeah, they changed the name recently. Well, getting in was not difficult at all, and I was studying on the budget place all 6 years. But yeah, studying was very difficult, and especially first 3 years, especially the very first year, it was extremely difficult. And even I knew it is difficult, but I never thought that it can be so much difficult, because even though in school I was studying well all the time, and it was quite easy for me. I'm used to studies and to I have a good memory. Everything was good, but there it's like you're pushed up to your limits. Like you know, also you need to study so much things that it seems that you don't have the capacity in your brain just to put it all together at once.
Yes.
Yeah, and especially when all your school friends, they also go to university, different other universities at the same time, and you see how different your lifestyle is. It's very demotivating at some point.
Because
Yeah,
you're
you
a young
probably.
person, you want to go out, probably, get some freedom for the first time in your life. I don't know. Did you live in Riga before that?
I was living in Riga with my parents, and first year of university I was also living with parents, but then from second year I moved to the dormitory next to the university. But my Riga friends, even though they were in the university also, they were all like partying, yeah, living their best life, enjoying every weekend, inviting me somewhere, and I'm like always, no, no, I need to study, I need to study. And they are like, okay, when you have some test, yeah, well, after test, let's meet. I'm like, no, after this test, we have next test, and then next. And for 6 years, kind of like that. So I felt like I'm just not enjoying my young years and just sitting with the books all the time. So I would tell it's yeah, you need to be really motivated and have the priorities set right to graduate, because so many people just stopped studying in the first year. I would say half of the course just went away.
But now, if you think back on that time, was it worth it? Like all of this partying that you missed out, do you miss it that you wasn't there? Or
I don't think so, because well, what would I gain there? Like just some kind of memories, and not the best ones probably. So of course, well, later I could party and go out with my friends when I graduated too. Yeah, and I felt more free because I don't have the like stress that I have something to study instead. Yeah, I'm just more free to do it, and I have my own money to do it, because also when you're a student in a vet university, it's very difficult or even impossible to work at the same time. So it makes you dependent from parents for a much longer period than other your friends who can combine usually studies and working. So of course it's good to have parents that can afford to feed you at least and pay your dormitory at this period. It's also very important moment, and it's that's why also you don't feel like I will go party like because it's your mother's father's money. So I feel more free to do whatever I want now when I have my own salary.
Yeah, and it's so true because it was same here. You did not have time to work. You just had to like study, study, study. And I had few classmates who were working night shifts, then went home at 3 o'clock in the night, read through materials, and came at 8 to do the test. And somehow they did it. Like, well, there was maybe 2 of them, but I'm always like so surprised and awed of those people who can really do that, but it was extremely difficult as well. Like all the work that you could do was the one that where you have to just sit and say hello to people at points when they come into the shop or something. And yeah, just study, study, study all the time. But then again, I don't really, you can't miss the stuff that you didn't experience. So if you weren't at that party, then don't remember, don't
Yeah.
have the memories. But
Yeah.
after you graduated, were your parents proud of you?
Oh yes, of course. They were very proud of me because I think every parent is proud if their children graduate any university. It's already very good achievement. And since in my family there is no doctors, it's also it feels just something unreal for my family. So they were very very proud, and my mom said that father even quietly removed a tear because he was so proud that this little girl graduated to become a vet. So my parents are also very respecting all the doctors and veterinarians, and they were also not even thinking. Actually, they were supporting me, but they were not even sure that I'm able to graduate it, because for them it also they put me this idea in my mind from their attitude that those people are some kind of genius, gods, and some prodigies. So you will not be, probably you're smart, you're good, but this is something else. So they were also very happy to discover that okay, she was even she could even better than we thought. Yeah. So yeah, they were super
But
proud.
was there from your side maybe I will show them attitude? No?
uh, yeah, there was something because they were adopting at some point, and my mother was sometimes even like, even for example, I'm preparing for exam and I know that I did already everything, and I want to go for a walk with a friend for 1 hour. Yeah, I already know that I'm set. And she was like, no, you will fail the exam, no, sit and study. So she was even more worried that I will fail. And of course I wanted to show like, no, I can do it. I will not lose the budget place, and even I can allow myself to sometimes go out to a supermarket to walk. So yeah, of course I wanted to show that that I'm capable of this. And I really wanted to stay on the budget because I didn't want to feel that my parents have to pay for my studies. It was somehow important for me, even though they could do it. They were preparing money for my studies for a long time since school, but I wanted to do it all myself and not to owe them more money, like not to feel that I owe something.
How do they feel about you living now entirely in a different country?
Mhm.
Although, okay, Riga is not too far away, but still, they can't see you too often, do they?
Yeah, they can't see me too often. I try to go to Riga every 1-2 months. It's maximum what I can actually afford. Uh, at first they were a bit sad that I move. It's clear we will not be able to see each other every weekend. But actually, they got used to it, and they are really also proud of me. That it feels also nice that you are kind of needed, you're requested in another country. Yeah, it feels also like some honor to go to another country. So, and especially when they came here, and I showed them my clinic, my work, they were very amazed, and they understood why I moved, and they were very also happy about my job, and they're proud about it. So yeah, I would say they're happy that I have a good job and that it's not too far still. They still feel that any moment I can take a car and in 3 hours I can see them.
Yes. And you've been in Estonia almost 6 years, yes?
Yes, actually, time
It's a
flies,
long
and yeah,
time. Yeah.
in July it will be 6 years. hmm
So how do you find it? You are still here, so I guess you like it. But what's maybe the biggest difference for a vet to be a vet here in Estonia and maybe be a vet in Latvia?
Uh, yeah, I like it in general. Yes, I like it here because somehow, well, I don't want to offend somehow Latvian colleagues or something, but at least with my experience that I have, of course, everyone can have different experience, but work conditions are better in Estonia, and somehow the attitude from the head, from the boss and everything is better to the vets, you, and from people too. Maybe it's also connected to better salaries in Estonia, that people here are more okay to pay for their pets, and they are not getting angry when you tell the prices. They are, at least I see, so much more responsible people who are, if they can't afford something, they kind of blame themselves, not you for that
That's
problem.
something new that I'm hearing. Thank you for that. That's
yeah,
great.
it's a very, you can feel it just when you tell someone it's like, you say, well, it's that expensive, but this is better to do. And I remember when I worked in Latvia, somehow the people that were coming mostly were quite poor, and they were, even you offer blood analysis, they get angry, like, how 30 euro for blood analysis, are you crazy? Like, well, where will I take the money? Of course, here also sometimes people say that, but much more rare. Somehow people are used to pay for services, and they are responsible, more responsible owners, and even though prices are much higher in Estonia than in Latvia, almost twice higher, I would tell, for every services.
Mm.
So at the beginning, it was very difficult for me to move here and to see the bills, because I was like, oh my gosh, I feel not like nice that people have to pay so much for my service. I was feeling a bit not comfortable because of that. But then when I started to go here everywhere, and I'm like, okay, I'm also paying everywhere much more for services. So I got used to it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You do work as a dermatologist now, yes?
Yes, it's my specialization, and most of my patients are dermatological patients, but not all of them.
So among all the different fields in veterinary medicine, why dermatology? Why
It,
skin?
Yeah, actually, it's weird for me too, because when I started to study and when I started to know about different specialities in vet medicine, at first I was interested in cardiology or in ultrasound, something like this. Actually, dermatology seemed very boring. I was never interested in skin, so I never thought. But like Somehow it feels like I'm very influenceable, because it was also the result of a good meeting, like with the friend who helped me to become a vet. Here also just a lucky coincidence helped me to select the profession. In the university, when we started to go through topic of dermatology, I was very lucky, because only in our course, first time, the lecture was being read not just by a teacher, but by a dermatologist, by diplomate Terry Oliveri. He's a very, very world famous dermatologist, and he was invited to read those basics, the lecture. And I got so inspired, because, well, he is a very, very talented lecturer, and he made the lectures so interesting and so understandable that after those few lessons, I felt like, okay, I can go and work now. I know what to do. I know how to diagnose. I know what to look for. So he just made it very easy and understandable. But still, there was some individual, some kind of call inside, because I thought that everyone got inspired like me. But then when I asked my course mates, they were like, oh, yeah, it was not bad. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you don't want to become a dermatologist after this lecture? They're like, no, why? And I was okay. Then I thought, but I started to feel some bigger interest in this. And when in the end of lecture he said, like, okay, I have one student of you can come with me to visit. Whoever wants, come please to me. And I remember I was waiting when the lecture ends, and I felt, then I need to run so fast, because I need to be the first one. Yeah, because everyone obviously will run, and I need to run first. And when it ends, I just ran there, and I see no one was running. I was like the only one. So I discovered that, okay, somehow it like caught me very easily. Probably what I liked in his description, that he said also that what is the best benefit of dermatology is that you see all the pathologies with your eyes. It's not like when you are cardiologist, for example, you never see the heart. You only see the ultrasound, cardiogram, or many professions who deal with kidney problem, liver problem. They only see analysis. They only see ultrasound, X-ray, just some kind of more or less image, but we see the pathology with our eyes. We can really see how it's getting healed, how it's getting worse or better. So you kind of like you have this better experience and easier way of diagnosing and helping them. It's very interesting. You always see how it works.
Yeah, I remember I read from some kind of book about dermatology, and there was written that there is around almost 300 different dermatological diseases that you can diagnose, and pretty much all of them look the same at first. So is this number true, or I remember it incorrectly?
Well, I can tell you the number of diseases. I think they're getting more and more, because we discover more, give new names. So I can't tell you the exact number, but yeah, of course, when you are not trained to see them, they all look the same. Yeah, that's all what all my colleagues who are not dermatologists say. But for me, since my eye got used to the view, so I always see that, oh, okay, this is something very different, and I can distinguish that it is some more rare disease. I already think about something more exotic. But the main thing is that to distinguish them, you need to be able to name what you see. Yeah, because mostly people say, well, it looks ugly, like, I don't know, not good. Yeah, but when you are becoming a specialist, you need to know all the names. That is it pigmentation? Is it erythema? Is it erosion? Is it pustula? Is it scales? So and when you have the names for all those things which just look weird, then you already know that okay, those symptoms correspond to this disease, those to this, those to this. So you just need to be able to classify.
And am I correct if nowadays allergies are the most popular reason why people come to you, but it's actually not the most common reason why why those cats and dogs are itching?
Yes, allergy is the most often disease that I'm dealing with, and not only me. I can tell that even the most advanced diplomated dermatologist, when you ask them, they say like still 90% of the patients are some allergic patients, and I would say that most of the itchy patients are, at least that are coming to me, coming because of allergy. Because, well, if we tell very roughly, we can tell that animals scratch mostly because of two reasons. One is some parasites, second is allergy. All others are much, much more rare. Yeah, so usually with parasites, owners can deal themselves. They use some drops against fleas, or vet prescribes something more specific. And only when then that doesn't help, then they reach me. So I mostly deal with those mostly already allergic.
Iceberg tip, yeah.
Yeah. More advanced cases. And yes, unfortunately, it's like the biggest sickness of nowadays. I remember even in some old book I read that it's considered about 10% of all the dog population is having some allergy. So yeah, you can imagine if it's every 1 of 10 dogs has it, then of course it seems like it's a lot.
Is it easy to diagnose what is the reason for the allergy?
No, it's very difficult. I can tell you that if owner's main goal is to know what is it exactly, it's usually very disappointing for them, because you need to go through different procedures before. It's not that easy as owners think that, oh, we'll just take allergy test and we know it all. Yeah, you can do it, but it will be not it may be results may be very wrong. So I would tell that not always. It's not even my main mission to know what the animal is allergic for, and it's not always necessary, because we mostly need to understand: is it due to food allergy or environment allergy? And that's it. Actually, just understanding which group it is already helping a lot with the treatment. And then, for example, if we checked for food allergy and it is not a food allergy, and we understand animal has some environment allergy, I always tell to the owner, okay, we can make allergy test now, and we will discover, for example, it is birch. So what? Yeah, what will we do? Will you move to north where there is no birch, or something like that? So just knowing the allergen will not help us anyhow. Yeah, so we need to understand that environment is not something we can change, and that's why only a reason when I agree to take the allergy test is if owners are ready to use a specific immunotherapy, a specific treatment for those allergens, which requires the test. Otherwise, it doesn't change much, and not all the owners agree on this treatment, because it is a very long one. It needs commitment for many years. So if they are not ready for that, we don't even start the test.
What is how will the environmental allergies and food allergies divide between themselves, like 50-50, 60-40? Like, What is the main?
Oh, this actually is very surprising for most of the owners, that actually food allergy, like in original understanding, is very rare. It's maybe 1 to 5% of all the
Thank you for
allergies.
this. I feel like I've been telling this for many years to my clients, and they do not believe. And I thought that maybe something has changed. But no, it's still 5 to
Yes,
10%. It's really low. And it's not
yes,
chicken usually, or is it chicken though?
yes. Actually, I can count just by fingers those few cases in all my practice when we really discovered the food allergic animal to one single protein. And by statistics, on the first place, it is beef. On the second, it is chicken. Yeah, and then there is, if I remember correctly, fish and others. So it's, yeah, of course, it's not always chicken, and that's why I'm always very skeptical. I'm not just even taking it seriously to account when people come and tell, "Oh, my dog has a chicken allergy." I'm usually okay
Let's
because
check that, yeah.
yeah, because usually if you start to ask how did you figure it out, they say, "Oh, our breeder said," or "Oh, once I gave chicken and he had red eyes," or so mostly it is,
Self-diagnosed.
yes, it's not confirmed, so it's just a popular opinion. I don't know by who made this opinion, but yeah, so mostly it's environment allergy, or as it's correct to call, atopic dermatitis, atopy. And it's also important moment, like it's not only about the allergens. Yeah, so the thing is that it's not actually, it's the disease itself is 50-50 of the influence of the allergens, of the environment allergens, and just the skin barrier, which is damaged just initially. Like some animals are born with how to say, not very good skin barrier. That is, in some places, it's very thin and dry, and that's why those places are very easy irritated, getting itchy. So actually, I'm not even sure. I think with time they will even re-evaluate the effect, the influence of the allergens or in this disease. Maybe it's even not so high as we are used to think, because as time goes, I see that there's more and more studies that show that initially in those puppies, even before the symptoms, the skin barrier in some places is like not perfect. So maybe that is even more important than the allergens.
So I have a theory in working about that, because I always try to explain to my friends and people who ask about allergies that it's not just like one thing. It's rather like all the environment plus those things that do not work in the animal. And if you have like maximum that you can take is 5 different problems, and you have already 4.5, then this maybe wrong food can be the final tip where the body tips over and the allergic reaction appears. But if you take away stress, if you take away skin, if the skin is too dry, you will just shampoo it or help with some supplements or right food, the level will just lower and the dog or cat will be manageable. Does this sound correct? We are going on a short commercial break where you, English listeners, can enjoy Estonian language. Aitäh, et te endiselt kuulate, mul oleks väga hea meel, kui te vahepeal ka like iksite, jagaksite ja kommenteeriksite siia alla nii YouTube'is kui ka Spotify's. Mulle väga meeldivad teie tagasiside, mulle väga meeldib, kui tullakse rääkima ka näiteks kuskil üritusel oma mõtetest ja räägitakse sellest, kui väga see saade neile meeldib, sest et see on kõik vesi minu veskitele. Mul on hea meel, et te kuulate ja mul on hea meel, et te jagate. Aitäh! So the commercial break is over. Let's go back to Sasha.
Yes, you sound very correct. Like that's why just sometimes maybe even the food, maybe for example, it is a food allergic, but there is also some other problems under that, and just by changing the food, it doesn't give the right result. It's very interesting because sometimes I help to people who come to me that we have been already to many vets. We tried food, we try tablets, we try everything, nothing is helping. And usually we tried shampoos, we tried cream, and sometimes all I need to do is tell, okay, we need to try this all together at once,
Mm-hmm.
like not one by one, but at once, because some those things work the best if you use them all. You moisturize it, you
Mm-hmm.
have the diet, you use the drugs that stop the itchiness to prevent damaging. And then we start to, they are usually at first protesting, but say, but we tried, this didn't work. And if I convince them, let's try, I know already, we need to do this all together. And then they say, come, oh yeah, it works. Actually, it all
Mm-hmm.
works. What have you done? I'm like, no, actually, it was all right, but just not very good managed. So yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm just some kind of lifestyle manager,
Maybe
more
you're
than
just good with communication, because usually 90% of problems with the clients, they come due to lack of good communication, or they just do not understand what vets are talking about. So if you are, like you said, very empathetic and try to view the problem from different sides, then I imagine it's all about the communication.
I
Well,
think, yeah,
and
there
your
is
knowledge,
truth.
because you're very, very smart, obviously.
So
But
thank you, but yeah, it's really important. I would tell that in my specialization, especially, I need to talk so much with them to answer all the questions. So I'm always very worried about it, that I answered all their questions, because I know if I will leave some piece which they didn't understand why, but why this, they will try to find the answer themselves, and very possibly it will be wrong. And then all the pyramid I was building will get
yes,
ruined.
yes.
They will stop following the rules, and they will believe in some false information, which unfortunately very often is provided by other dog owners, forums, breeders. And yeah, it's very much, I'm trying to do a lot to build their trust by being able to answer for all their questions. Only then they are like, oh, okay, we can trust you. So okay, we will try to follow all your instructions, and then only if they see those instructions help, then they have already, if I pass this first point and they got a good result already, that's it. Usually then they are not listening to other breeders and people. They understand, okay, we listen to you and it worked. But so it's, the first consultation is always very like challenging for me. If it's a new client, I really try to make them trust me and to answer all the questions.
I imagine many listeners have been waiting for the question, actually the answer for a question like, how the hell did you manage to come in Estonia? Or what brought you here? What is the story behind that? I know that it was something with the Estonian University of Life Sciences and some good friends, yes?
Yes, actually, it was also a coincidence in my life, because on the 6th year of education, we had in my university, there was a big practice for half a year, a rotation practice, which you could do in Latvia, in your university, or you could go to another university. And I applied to many of them, and somehow the Estonian University of Life Sciences answered me the fastest, and they were very open to take me. So I went there, and I made my practice in Tartu. So I was living there for half a year and going through all those clinical practice and farm practice and horse practice, all those things. And yeah, I made some friends there with the students that were also about to graduate, the future vets, and I made some friends. And then after I graduated, I started to work in Riga, and I worked for a year in Riga, but I was not really satisfied with my job, and I couldn't find anything better. And I was always dreaming to work in a big advanced clinic where are many specialists, where I can learn from others. And then one of my Estonian friends, who was also a vet, who also just graduated, just wrote me like, "Hey, don't you want to try to apply? There is a job, like, place in Tallinn." in a clinic, and maybe you want to try to apply. And I thought, I answered her that, well, maybe I would want, because I'm not satisfied here, but I don't know Estonian, who needs me there? And she said, no, 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 try. There are some other foreigners too, and it's okay, especially if you're interested in dermatology, they will very appreciate it. They need a dermatologist, I know. And yeah, that's how I just applied, and very soon I got invited for an interview, and I came here. I really liked the clinic. It was looking exactly how I was dreaming to it to look, and yeah, and they offered me a job immediately with already better salary that I'm getting in Latvia, much better, and there was no reason for me to say no. So I thought, well, at least it's going to be a good experience for me, even if it doesn't work out. At least there will be some experience. Actually, I was not planning to stay for so long. I thought, like, okay, I will have like 1-2 years of some practice, and then let's see. But yeah, somehow I'm still in the same place, and I'm kind of very satisfied with my life now.
What were the challenges of moving here? I imagine from coming to another country is a challenge of itself, but finding a place to live, finding new friends in the well, in the language department, I've been living abroad, and it was really lonely
Mhm.
when you can't really speak your own language. So describe me your experiences.
Yes, it was a bit scary at first, and finding a place to live, and this all was very challenging because I didn't have any, how to say, like I didn't have a lot of money saved for moving. So at first I rented the cheapest option possible. It was kind of like a room in a dormitory, because I thought when I have my probation period, I should just leave as cheap as possible. Only if I get accepted here, I can rent something better. So I was living in quite awful conditions. First half a year, it was a room which was, I don't know, maybe 10 square meters with a bathroom. Everything was not private, was for the whole floor. And yeah, and the most I remember still, the most disappointing part was that the fridge was also in the common kitchen, and someone very bad was always stealing my food and eating my food, and it was so upsetting. I come from a long working day, it's like 9 p.m. and tomorrow morning I need to work, and I know there is my food, and I come and it's not there, and I know the shops are closed already, and I'm like, what's going on with my life? I'm 25 years old and this is my life. So yeah, it was kind of challenging, and I had to leave all my friends, family in Riga. I was also in a relationship at that moment, so I had to leave my partner there. So it was very sensitive moment. I was not sure that it's the right decision, but something inside me was pulling me. I felt it's some kind of progress. It's very challenging, but it looks more like a job I was dreaming about than ahead, and having a job that you enjoy was my very big priority from teenage years. I knew that I have to love my job. I always was not really understanding how people work on the job they hate, because it makes half of your life or even more. You can't allow half of your life to be something you hate. Like so, this is at least something in your control. You should find a place you enjoy. So yeah, I made the bet for it, and I'm happy it won.
This is so, so true. And we have a saying in Estonia, julge hundi rind on rasvane. Did you understand that?
Not fully.
So it's brave wolf's chest is greasy.
More fat.
Yeah, well,
Grease.
more fat. Yeah. So sometimes you do have to take that risk to do something. And do you remember the day when your
I think I understand.
your contract like approved and you were able to stay for longer?
Yes, it was after 4 months. It was very long probation period here, and I was already fully like sure that I wanna stay, and I was sure that I'm gonna stay here because I could feel already much more confidence, and I could feel a support from my colleagues. It was very nice feeling.
Mm.
Actually, it was also very something surprisingly very different from Riga, where I worked before, because even though there I should kind of be more valuable, I don't know, because I know the language, I have some experience, but I could feel that. Well, I was a new graduate, of course. People always are very skeptical about the new graduates. First year or two, you feel very little because everyone comes and looks at you and like, can you call the doctor? And with this
Mm.
kind of vibe, yeah. And also from colleagues, older colleagues, I always felt that they kind of don't trust, don't respect you. So I was feeling very like, how to say, shy and not confident.
Mm.
But when I came to Tallinn, I was afraid that I will feel even worse because I also don't know Estonian. But somehow here, very soon, my colleagues started to show me trust, ask me advices, which was something that I never experienced before. How like an older colleague, more experienced, asks me advice. Wow, it
Mm.
feels very nice, and you start to um, gain confidence. And yeah, so with time, I understood that, and clients also, yeah, they are also okay. They don't look at me like, oh, you're a young girl, you don't know anything. Somehow, probably even the fact that I'm a foreigner worked as a plus in this scenario, because well, they were telling like we have a foreign doctor, and probably maybe some people have actually a better opinion, that they think,
Mm.
oh, probably, well, she would not be kind of invited if she would be dumb. Yeah, so
Mm.
maybe it even works in a sense, it works as a plus. So after those 4 months, I was already very sure that I will never say never, but I don't want to come back to Latvia.
Mm-hmm. Do you get along with the clients? Because I imagine a lot of Estonians do speak English very well, and I think you speak Russian as well. Yes. So,
Yes.
like, we have half and half covered. But how about the ones who are not able to speak either of those languages? How do you deal with them?
Uh, well, luckily, biggest amount of people are able to speak English or Russian. So with most of them, there is even no problem. But of course, there are some people who say, no, I don't, I want to speak only Estonian. And then I just ask someone to come with me to translate. It's assistant or administrator. And since our clinic has a very big team, there's always someone available to help. And actually, there was no one case in all my 6 years of work here when it wouldn't work out, when the client would leave and tell that, no, you don't speak, we can't understand each other. Because, well, of course, I can understand some of them are unhappy about it. And sometimes I can feel from beginning some tension that they look at me not very happily.
Mm.
But actually, always in my experience, I'm able to change it, the dynamic somehow. They understand that you ask good questions, you're interested, you check their animal, you're very gentle and, how to say, very careful to all their complaints. And then they stop caring about the language most of the
Mm-hmm.
times, because then, yeah, I had the one, I remember still, one lady client, quite an old lady, who was at first made a scandal on the registration desk, like, why the doctor doesn't speak Estonian and so on. And they said, no, no, please, no, try, we will have translator. And she was at first very grumpy, but in the end, she was shaking my hand and telling, thank you, you're the best doctor. I will go only to you, Alexandra.
How the tables have turned, yeah.
Yes, I don't know, like somehow, usually in my experience, thank God, it ends up like this. And of course, I'm learning Estonian. I'm now, I passed the A2 and I'm learning the B1 level. And in September, I should go past the B1 and I'm planning to learn more and more. So I'm slowly learning. And actually, in most of the cases, I don't even need translator. Usually I go with a translator to translate some of my words because 99% what they speak, I understand. And I sometimes even ask the questions myself, but I just know that probably they're grammatically not very right. So I have just the assistant is just like a helper. Yeah, just like this, because it's funny. Many times assistants laugh when they come to translate because the client speaks Estonian. I say, okay. I speak Russian or English. Client says, okay, speaks Estonian, and we understand each other because, well, everyone who knows some other language understands that speaking is much more difficult than understanding. Yeah,
Yes.
so
Yes.
especially in the veterinary topic, I understand, I would tell 90 or 99%, yeah, when they speak. But yeah, I still feel not very confident to speak back.
It will come. It will come. We did tap on the topic of money, and it's quite hard to ask for money. But like in general, what is the amount of money that you usually ask from the client in any cases? Just like cut through middle.
Well, it's not like about me, yeah. So I can't really tell that I ask the money because I'm working in a clinic that sets the prices, yeah.
Yes.
So I can't tell you, but well, at the moment my consultation costs 70 euros, but as a dermatologist, but it includes already all the examinations. So I do the microscopy, I check the ears with otoscope, I check with a special UV lamp. So all those dermatology tests are included in that price, which makes it quite reasonable because many other doctors, the consultation price is lower, but all those things come as an extra. Yeah, so basically this basic visit is like 70 euros, and other part forms from the treatment, and it depends from problem. Sometimes it will be just spot on drops for fleas, yeah. At some point it will be a list of drugs for 200 euros more, and it's really very individual. And as for a diet, I often recommend some food. It also depends if owner buys it or no. So yeah, the price it's very difficult to tell the average price. Well, but usually still if they take all the drugs and foods,
the question of price is very subjective all the time. For some, 70 euros is like quite affordable. For some, it's quite high. So it is like, where is the middle? Because we always talk about high prices, but and some clients come with like expectation of a really high price, and then the price is like high-ish, but it's still under 100, and they're like, oh, not too much. So if we talk about high prices or expensive things that we do, we should put a price on it so people would know where the expensive part starts, because for some it's... So, Alexandra, or Sasha, I have a tradition here in this podcast where the last guest leaves a question for the next guest without knowing to whom they leave the question for. And for you was also left very interesting question. I quite enjoy it, and I'm very, very interested how you will come out of it. So the question is, give us a reading suggestion, one specialist book and one non-specialist. So something that is with veterinary medicine and something that you would read for fun.
Well, from veterinary medicine, like I think everyone should read and use daily the like veterinary internal medicine book. Actually, I forgot the author, but this huge book is in our clinic, so which answers on most of the problems and questions. I really like the author flow from my mind. So this, and of course, I always check that in every clinic I come that they have the plum's book with the drug dosages, because some old generation vets, they sometimes don't use it and just invent the dose from the head. Yeah, so this is like, don't use the actual information. So those books are like mandatory in the clinic. But what about just
Non-vet. Yes.
non-med?
Mickey Mouse comics.
No, really, no. But one of the last books which I was reading was totally different topic. The name is, I think, Why Nations Fail. Yeah, it's a book more about the economics and about how the world that we see now, how did it happen to be like this? I mean, that some countries are very poor, some are very rich and successful, and it's a very interesting book about history and economics, and it really opens your eyes on why there is such diversity in how people live.
If you liked that book, you will like the book Factfulness as well. Really easy to read and all about the statistics, and also amazing book. I have it in English. I can lend it to you.
Oh, would be real nice.
Yeah.
I would like it.
So thank you, Aleksandra, for your time. It has been a pleasure. I enjoyed your story very, very much.
Thank you for inviting me. I also enjoyed to share some of my good memories.
I hope you did enjoy this episode, and if you did, please check out another English version of another vet who is also working here in Estonia, but he is from Chill. Yes, go and look him up, and I will tag him somewhere here. Also, please do share your suggestions for some really good books. One that is veterinary medicine related, and one book that is something that you really like to read. And we will see our Estonian listeners next time, maybe you, English listeners, someday in the future again. Bye-bye.